Good Wednesday evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video, Weather for Weather Geeks. We are halfway through the month of October, and it finally felt like the season today. Actually, it felt a little more like November rather than October today. And we'll, of course, get to all the forecast details for the next few days coming up. I wanted to start this evening with a little climate news, as I like to do when we have something significant in the news as far as climate goes and climate change topics. Well, September of 2019 tied with September of 2015 for the warmest September on record globally. 10 of the warmest, the 10 warmest, I should say, Septembers on record have all occurred since 2005. In September of 2019, the 417th straight month with temperatures above the 20th century average. In some quick math, that's over 30 years. That takes us back to the mid-80s, where every month has been warmer than the 20th century average when we look globally. And, you know, you look at this map and, yeah, no surprise, the eastern U.S. was definitely one of the hot spots in the month of September. So last week I talked about the September climate statistics for Ohio and the rest of the U.S. Today we got some global numbers, and just a reminder of what I talked about last week in case you missed it. Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, and Ohio all had their warmest September on record, and then all these other states had a top 5 warm September, and that's almost half the country when you add all those states up. And just again, in case you missed this, and I won't spend a whole lot of time on this because I have covered this ground a few times on Weather Geeks, but 2019 September in Youngstown specifically, the 9th warmest, tying with 2016. All these other years, aside from some recent ones at the bottom of the list, all these years are from the 30s. And so, you know, when I show lists like this, occasionally it will prompt some climate change discussion on social media, especially on Facebook. And just a reminder that global climate change or global warming means, global climate change, global warming. And you look at the entire globe, and there's just no comparison between September of 2019 and September of 1931, our warmest September on record in Youngstown. But look how isolated that warm patch was across eastern North America back in September of 1931. The rest of the globe was not nearly as warm by comparison. All right, we'll get off the climate topic now. A lot of people just want to talk about weather, but, you know, in Weather for Weather Geeks, this is an in-depth video that talks not only about weather, but some general science, some astronomy, some climate news as well. But on to the weather, and I told you last evening that we may double our October rainfall totals just within 24 hours or so, and we basically did that with a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch on average in the heart of our TV viewing area, but out towards I-79 in Mercer County, kind of on the edge of our viewing area, an inch worth of rain, pretty common, with our steady soaker this morning and then the showers that have occurred late today. These showers started to re-emerge late in the afternoon. They continue early this evening, and what you see is what you get for tonight. Showers will continue coming and going. It is chilly and raw out there. I went out and moved my car after the 6 o'clock newscast, and boy, it really does feel like mid-November rather than mid-October. And this storm system is getting set to what we call bomb out. Bombogenesis, one of those weather terms that has kind of gotten adopted by the media in recent years whenever we talk about a rapidly deepening low pressure system. It's a cool name, it's a catchy name, makes for a good headline, so you sometimes hear about that, kind of like the polar vortex. It's one of those terms that was, you know, for weather geeks only until recent years when it's found its way to the mainstream. Anyway, it means a rapidly deepening area of low pressure, and it's going to cause wind and rain and the end of the fall foliage season in New England, unfortunately for them. Hopefully everybody up there got to enjoy the pretty colors, because those leaves are going to get stripped off those trees in a hurry in the next couple of days. Well, another sign that the seasons are changing now, this is way up there at the highest peaks of West Virginia and Panhandle of Maryland, up around 3,000 to 4,000 feet. Some of the first snowflakes of the year will be seen, and even across far southern PA, there's some peaks up here of 2,500 to 3,000 feet. In far southern PA near the Maryland border. Probably going to be some snowflakes here and there over the next 24 hours. Most people won't notice that. Those are way up in the higher elevations, but again, it's a sign that things are a-changing. All right, your Thursday forecast, it's going to look a lot like today. It's going to feel a lot like today. We're going to stay in the 40s. There'll be a gusty wind. As far as rain goes, the highest risk of lake effect rain showers will be out towards I-79 in Mercer County, up into Crawford County, maybe parts of Trumbull and Ashtabula as well. The farther south and west you are, down towards Columbiana County in particular, the lower the chances of any noticeable rain are for tomorrow. Not much more than a sprinkle or a passing shower in those spots. The shower is a little more frequent, I think, as you head north and east of Youngstown. You know, sometimes we talk about that in lake effect situations in the winter. Hey, the most numerous snow showers, the best chance for accumulations will be north and east of Youngstown. This is the same idea, except it's rain and not snow. We're going to hang out in the clouds into Friday morning. I do think as this high pressure system nudges a little bit closer Friday afternoon, the sun is going to break out. It may take a little while, but Friday should end brighter than it will start. Dry for high school football and a dry, pleasant start to the weekend. We should have a good deal of sunshine on Saturday. That'll be a good day to rake leaves, do anything outdoors as we kick off the weekend. Actually, the whole weekend looks pretty good. If you follow me on Twitter, EricWFMJ on Twitter, I posted an animation a couple of hours ago of the temperature anomalies off the European model heading over the next couple of weeks, and it's wave after wave of Canadian cool coming down, starting middle of next week and taking us all the way through Halloween. So it's no surprise that the CPC 8 to 14 day outlook shows elevated odds of cooler than average temperatures in that period. This would take us through the final week of the month of October. All right, just a reminder in case you have missed out on the date here, we talked about this last week that my annual winter forecast will make its debut on November 7th. If you've been following me for a few years now, you know I do a short version on TV because it has to be short. That's the 3-minute version. Online, on the apps, social media, anywhere not on TV, you're going to get a longer version that has more detailed discussions in it about not only the forecast itself, but why the forecast is what it is. So we'll get into some of the meteorology, and leading up to that, I'm going to share some of the hints and a few other things about the winter forecast to kind of get you warmed up for the debut of our winter outlook. And this is kind of the secret sauce, the things we look at when we talk about making a seasonal forecast, including the winter forecast. We look at the past years that have similar temperature regimes in the oceans, where it's warm, where it's cool across the oceans, the Pacific, the Atlantic, even the Indian Ocean. We look at computer modeling as well, and some of this is a lot of this is science, of course. Some of it is art and experience and intuition, and hey, what's your gut feeling? When you do this long enough, you get gut feelings that some data may be less right than other data. Seasonal forecasts are hard. They're much harder than your typical 7-day forecast. Some years they go just fine. Some years they go a little sideways. Last year was one of those years that started fine, but our forecast went a little sideways during the back half of winter, which was expected to be cold and snowy. We really played up the idea that February would be cold and snowy last winter. That didn't turn out to be the case. We had a real cold stretch at the end of January and through February 1st, but then that was it. The rest of February was not cold. It was not snowy. We're hoping to do a little bit better this year. So a few weeks from now, we'll be talking about the winter of 2019-2020. Until then, thank you for watching Weather for Weather Geeks, and I'll see you back here same time, same place on Thursday for a fresh edition of this video.